DC Nation, what is up? We're back with another video. In this video, I'll be covering all the new DC comics that came out this past week, the week of February 1st. The very first week of this all-new month. And guys, we don't have a lot of new comics this week. We only got 6 that I'm covering, but there's some quality comics, especially my pick of the week. Speaking of that, my pick of the week is Justice League Incarnate number 4, written by Josh Williamson. Guys, this main series started out alright, seeing the Justice League Incarnate go through the Multiverse, try to stop Darkseid. It was interesting, but certain things like the Batwoman who laughs and other Multiverse characters get involved, it didn't leave me hooked. Like, kinda pushed me away from the title. I was like, I don't really want to see more Batman Who Laughs or anything related to that. I don't want to see characters that don't matter. Like, I actually want to see what Darkseid's trying to do. I want to see more of the Great Darkness. And that's what we get in this issue. Finally, we get some big plot developments, and it is awesome. This is definitely the best issue of the series thus far, because so much happens. Like, the first 10 pages, we get a recap of the biggest events in the DC Universe, like Crisis on Infinite Earths, Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, Dark Knight's Metal and Death Metal, or as they're labeled in this issue, the Metal Wars, and Infinite Frontier, just all these events. Now you're probably thinking, okay, I don't really want to read a recap of events, like that sounds like a lot of exposition, and a lot of text, I don't know if it matters. But, to get you hooked, guys, it's not just a recap of events for new readers, it also shows how the Great Darkness is involved. How the Darkness was involved in Man-Track from Final Crisis, how it was involved with Darkseid and Infinite Frontier, and it's really fascinating, like how Josh Williamson writes this issue is so well done, well paced, and actually a lot of action toward the end. Like guys, after the big recap that we get, which I actually really enjoyed, like the artwork is laid out so well, just seeing different events in a different perspective, like Darkseid and Final Crisis, Man-Track, him not returning, but just seeing him in a comic again, that's cool. And then also Crisis on Infinite Earths, the double page spread we get of the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor, and the Monitor assembling all these different heroes across the multiverse is really cool. Now, after the recap done by Dr. Multiverse, she then comes up with this reasoning that Darkseid must win. And the Justice League Incarnate at first is like, what? Like, Darkseid winning? No, we cannot do that. And she's like, it's the only thing we could do. Like, the Great Darkness is growing and we can't stop it alone. And Darkseid actually has a plan. He must win. And after he wins and beats at the top of everything in the multiverse, we then need to bring together all the heroes and stop him. But we gotta stop one villain at a time. One darkness at a time. And then President Superman's like, okay, I kind of see that. And everybody on the team is like, alright, we can see your reasoning, Maya, Dr. Multiverse. But President Superman, Calvin Ellis's question, Darkseid's like, hey, why didn't you ask us for help? Like, we would help if you have a good reason. And Darkseid, I like his answer. He's like, well, you would try to convince me about justice and your ideals, and I don't care about your ideals. Like, it's a waste of time trying to convince you. And with the Great Darkness growing in power, the time that I spend trying to convince you to go to my side, it's just a waste of time, and then I get behind the Great Darkness, and the Great Darkness ends up winning. And if you guys try to interfere, I'll stop you. So, simple as that, like, Darkseid's plan is really good, I like it. And it gets even hype from here, like, really awesome from here. We see Darkseid just flex on the Justice League Incarnate. He's like, okay, you want help, right? You're not sure if you want to help me? Well, I don't need you. I got my own army. And check it out, we're ready for war. It's time for war. And we get a double page spread of Darkseid just smiling, and behind him we see all these boom tubes, and basically we see Calibac, Grill, the daughter of Darkseid. We see all these forces of Apocalypse ready to fight against the Empty Hand and the Great Darkness. Now guys, it gets better. But before I get to that big fight, there is something else that happens that's very important. we see Thomas Wayne, aka Flashpoint Batman. He gets taken control of by the Great Darkness. He tries to kill Maya, aka Dr. Multiverse. And then we see Darkseid basically be like, alright, your friend is taking over. I need to destroy him. And President Superman's like, no, that's my friend. Thomas has been growing. He's been getting better. Don't do it. And then Darkseid unleashes his Omega Beams and destroys Thomas Wayne in an epic splash image. We get a really cool splash image. Like, how it's drawn, the artwork in this issue is just amazing. It's really good. But this splash image on its own, it looks really cool. It's devastating seeing Thomas Wayne just get destroyed, but I already know where he's going. We're getting a Flashpoint Beyond May series coming out a couple months, written by Jeff Johns, and that will show where Thomas Wayne goes after this May series. Now, from there, we see the Justice Incarnates. They take on the Lost. President Superman, he's devastated. He was really helping out Thomas. Basically, President Superman, he's the Superman of the Justice Incarnate, and Thomas was the Batman. So imagine Bruce and Clark. Bruce dies, Clark would be pretty devastated. Same here for Calvin and Thomas. But then Captain Carrots, he steps up and convinces President Superman to have hope, because Superman, he's losing hope. He doesn't know what to do. And Captain Carrot tells him, no, there's still hope. What we need to do now is find our friends. We need to find the other Justly Incarnate members that are at the House of Heroes that's supposedly been destroyed by Darkseid's forces. Now they go off, they try to find their friends, and then the issue, they find him, but they've been taken control of by the Great Darkness. Captain Carrots, he gets controlled as well. Everybody gets controlled except for President Superman. So now it's up to Calvin to come up with a solution, try to save his friends, and deal with this big multiverse event that's about to happen. Now, aside from all that, which I really like, I like the Justly Incarnate, the characters and the team, they've been developed well throughout this May series, especially in this issue. I especially like the interpretation of President Superman, like Joshua Williamson is nailing that character. But my favorite part of the issue, we see Darkseid fight off against the Empty Hand. And guys, it is epic. Seeing the Empty Hand show up, and we get this one dope page spread of both armies fighting. The forces of Apocalypse fighting off against the Gentry. Basically the forces of the Empty Hand, aka the Great Darkness. And then we get a dope page spread of Darkseid trying to destroy the Empty Hand, thinking he has the one up on him, but the Empty Hand just laughs. He's like, huh, you think that you have the up on me. You thought this would destroy me, but now you've just given me what I need to cause true chaos in a way. Like, it will help him make the Oblivion Machine. And guys, the Oblivion Machine and everything involving the Empty Hand is explained in Multiversity, a story written by Grant Morrison. It's actually the back haul pull for today, so I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in this video. But how this fight escalates, seeing Darkseid realize he can't take on the Empty Hand. He is very weak compared to the Great Darkness. And then the Empty Hand says, my hand is no longer empty, and you are no longer required. And from there, Darkseid just gets stomped on. He tries to run away, the Empty Hand grows large and powerful and steps on him. So now the Empty Hand has all he needs to destroy the multiverse, or at least take over it with the Great Darkness, and shit's getting real, guys. It is getting very epic, very high stakes, and I can't wait to see where Joshua Williamson takes this story. Like, next issue is the final issue in this May series. It'll be the final setup for whatever events that DC is trying to set up, and I'm especially excited for Justice League number 75, coming in April, I believe, where it'll be the death of the Justice League. The Justice League go to the edge of the multiverse, and most likely the Gentry, the forces of the Empty Hand, or the Great Darkness, will destroy the Justice League. So yeah, guys, amazing issue. Like, I got no flaws with it. The artwork was good, the writing was good, it was epic. I got to see something that I've been wanting to see in comics for a while, Darkseid versus the Empty Hand. But yeah, guys, you just tell me your thoughts on this comic down below. I really want to have a conversation about this comic. Like, we just come up with theories, talk about that fight between Darkseid and Empty Hand, talk about the Great Darkness just being involved in the entirety of the DC Universe. Like, wow, like, great writing and a good direction for the DC Universe. And yeah, guys, all I can say is I highly recommend you pick up this issue. Next up on our list, we got Batman, number 120, written by Joshua Williamson. Actually, I want to know something real quick. Joshua Williamson has such a big influence on DC Comics now. Like, he's writing just the Incarnates, Robin, Deathstroke Inc., and Batman. Like, literally has a big DC event being set up in just the Incarnates, and then he has a smaller events, Shadow Wars, being set up in Batman, Deathstroke, and Robin. And it's all done so well. Like, I have no complaints. Joshua Williamson, he's doing a great job, and I'm excited to see what else he does at DC going forward. Now, for this issue of Batman, it's Abyss Part 3. Last issue, Batman got blind as a bat, so he fought off against Abyss. Abyss hit him with something, and now he can't see. And he has to work with a detective that was introduced in the storyline, and he's just trying to get back on his feet. We see Batman still being competent. I really like how Joshua Williamson writes Batman. He's still getting surprised by villains, and he still has formidable threats. But Batman is just not lazy, or he's not just incompetent. He's still competent, and his skills are still shown. He is Batman. He is in character, unlike in like James Tynion's run, where he'd get knocked out easily or put to the side of his own book. And I didn't like that. At least he's actually the main character once again. Now, going on with this story, we see Batman, he goes out, we get fights between him and the different members of Batman Incorporated, like Batman China. I really like Batman China, he's dope. But we get cool fights, a double page spread that's drawn so well. And then we get the big reveal that Batman Incorporated is working with Abyss, and their main goal is to kill Lex Luthor. And guys, I really like this reveal. It's super interesting, and we actually get like a quick scene earlier in the issue where Lex Luthor, he puts on like a bat suit that is way more equipped and powerful, and Abyss attacks him in the dark, and Lex Luthor just holds his own. So it's going to take a lot more than Batman Incorporated Abyss to take down Lex. And we already know what they need. They need Batman on their side. And that's what we see at the end of the issue. We see Abyss with Batman Incorporated behind him and asking Batman to join him in killing Lex Luthor. Basically, like, he wants Batman on their side. Like, Abyss, I don't think he has anything against Batman. Batman is just in his way. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Will we see Batman and Lex team up? Will we see Batman team up with Abyss and Batman Incorporated, and Lex just try his best to survive? I don't know, but next issue is the final issue in this mini storyline, this opening storyline in Joshua Williamson's Batman run. And the hype level is real. Like, this is a very interesting story that shows Batman's detective skills, his competence, and just the lore behind Batman Incorporated. But yeah, guys, Batman, number 120. If you've been enjoying this Abyss storyline so far, I highly recommend you pick up this issue. Next up on our list, we got Detective Comics number 1051, Part 5 of the event, Shadows the Bats. Written by Mariko Tamaki, and this issue is kinda weak. Like, last issue got me interested with Psycho Pirates getting involved, and Psycho Pirates, he's involved a great deal in this issue. We see how he's controlling all the inmates, making them happy, and we see Dr. Ware try to use Psycho Pirates so he can get a lot of money out in Nakano, and that part of the issue is kind of interesting. Like, I like the idea. I like Dr. Ware kind of scheming and scamming Penguin and the Party Crashers. Like, Dr. Aware is a very interesting character, and Psychopirates, he's an awesome character that has potential in the storyline. But the thing I don't like about this issue is it's very boring. Like, it takes a while to get going, and certain scenes are kind of dragged out, especially like Chase Meriden. Like, Dr. Chase Meriden, I like her being involved in this storyline, but in this issue we see her talking with different inmates, and it just doesn't feel necessary. It doesn't feel like it adds that much to the plot. The only scene that I feel with her actually adds to the plot was when she was talking with Helena or Huntress, and then we see this big riots start to break out in the Arkham Tower, and Huntress tells Chase Meriden to stay back and watch, and she watches Huntress fight off against Nero, who was supposed to be good, like he's supposed to be controlled, but he's actually not. It's a very intense scene, very well done, actually got me invested, but yeah, the very first half of this issue is pretty boring. But from there, at the end of the issue where the riots breaks out and we see all these villains trying to kill each other, and Dick Grayson, who's inside the Arkham Tower, he's supposed to be undercover, doesn't call for help yet. He's trying to find out what's going on, but then we see him in a bad situation at the end. Psychopirates puts everyone to sleep and makes them forget what happened. So now Dick Grayson is going to be an inmate in Arkham Tower, and he may not find his way out. So I find that intriguing. But yeah, this whole issue I was very mixed on. Like, certain parts boring, some ideas really cool, other ideas not good at all. The ending very interesting, but I'm still skeptical to see where this story goes. So do I recommend this issue? I'll say yes. Like, I'm gonna keep giving Mariko Tamaki the benefit of the doubt, but I'll say this: if you do not have the extra cash to buy this comic or buy this entire event, don't try yet. Like, wait till the trade comes out, and then I'll keep making videos about this storyline, this event, Shouts to the Bats. If it ends up ending on a great note, then pick it up on trade. Like, it'll probably be less money, more affordable, and you can enjoy it instead of being like me, who's like reading it when it comes out each issue, and it just kind of disappoints me sometimes, gets me excited the other times. It's very mixed. Like, Mariko Tamaki just can't find her footing on Detective Comics, it seems. Like, she's trying. Sometimes I think she's doing good, but other times not as much. And a lot of times the artwork really carries it. And for this issue, the artwork is not that great, so that's another con. So yeah, guys, like, very mixed. I'm very mixed on Shouts to the Bat so far, and I hope it gets better. Next up on our list, we got Arkham City, The Order of the World, number 5. And this issue, we get fights between Dr. Phosphorus and Adriel, and it is awesome. Like, guys, this entire story has been amazing, written so well by Dan Waters. Like, he knows what he's doing. How he treats his characters and goes in depth, like the Ten-Eyed Man, Dr. Phosphorus, Nocturna, and yeah, just all of Dr. Jocasta Joy's patients. And the thing that I found very interesting in this issue is seeing the patients that got beat up or messed up in the hospital so far, like the Ten-Eyed Man, they get kind of tempted by an offer made by Professor Pig. We see Professor Pig working with like this ghost girl, you can call it, this villain that she could change into ghosts that look like anyone. And the ghost that she's resembling is the ghost of Amadeus Arkham. And seeing this ghost go around, try to convince the Ten-Eyed Man, end up convincing the Ratcatcher, and then at the end, we see Dr. Jocasta Joy just get put in with all this. Like, she is with the madness now. She is with her patients, walking into the dark parts of Gotham, and they end up arriving at Professor Pig's new asylum, aka Pig's Asylum, and that's how the issue ends. So now we got all the characters we've had so far being tempted by this new asylum, made by a madman. Just how Professor Pig got involved last issue, and now him trying to make a new asylum this issue. It's super interesting, and I'm excited to see what happens next. Like, next issue is the final issue in this miniseries, and anything can happen. All I know though, Ten-Eyed Man is my favorite character. His design is dope, and just how he acts. Like, there's one splash image of him about to take the eyes out of a child, which is very horrific. He doesn't end up doing like Dr. Chikasta Choi saves the kid, but just seeing the Ten-Eyed Man almost about to wrap this kid up and take his eyes, it's drawn very well, and it put me on the edge of my seat. I'm like, man, someone's gotta save this kid. Like, Ten-Eyed Man, he is wild. But yeah, guys, Arkham City, The Order of the World, number 5. You've been reading the series so far, I highly recommend you pick up this issue. Next up on our list, we got Dark Knights of Steel, number 4, written by Tom Taylor. In this issue, we get the story of how Thomas and Martha Wayne died. We get the background in the House of L, when Jor-El and Lara L basically crashed onto Earth and then tried to help out Thomas, the Waynes' castle, from getting destroyed by a volcano, and all that is interesting. Like, I like how Tom Taylor progresses the story, and how Alfred is telling Bruce the story in the present day, and preparing Bruce to be a king, and try to save everyone. That is very cool. But the best part of this issue is the reveal of the Green Man. Yep, the Green Man that's been causing trouble. Yeah, man, that reveal. It turns out the Green Man is a combination of Joker and Lex Luthor. We see Lex, he's just an assistant to Thomas and Martha, but he doesn't actually like them. Like, he has his own motivations, and he actually almost gets them killed in the beginning of the issue. But then he ends up colliding with this green rock that has the Green Lantern ring. He gets Green Lantern powers, but what comes with it is also the insanity of the Joker. So Lex then strikes back, he shows up, kills Thomas and Martha Wayne, Bruce barely survives, and Martha ends up saying her final words to Lara, and we see Jor-El and Lara change the Wayne's castle into the House of L. And it's a very interesting transition. But guys, the reveal of the Green Man, Joker and Lex being combined, the two biggest villains at DC being combined and given a Green Lantern ring, like, that is just some kind of power. That is one formidable opponent, a formidable villain, and I'm just excited to see the Green Man in the present day next issue. Like, this story can go in so many directions, and now that Bruce knows his true origin, his past with his families, and he's ready to be a king, we're gonna see Bruce be the Dark Knight and fight off against the big villain, the Green Man. But yeah, guys, very awesome issue. If you enjoyed Tom Taylor's Elseworlds, then you'll really like this. And if you just want a great issue with lots of backstory and a very awesome reveal, then I highly recommend you pick up this issue. Moving on to the last new DC comic that came out this past week, we got Suicide Squad number 12. And this issue sets up the big events that's coming up, War for Earth 3. This will be an event or a crossover between Teen Titans Academy, Flash, and of course, Suicide Squad. And it is set up well in this issue. But aside from the event being set up in a really good manner, we get a really good confrontation between Rick Flagg's Suicide Squad and Amanda Waller. And we see Amanda Waller's Suicide Squad go up against the different heroes on Earth 8. The mighty heroes, right? But we get a lot of action in this issue, a lot of brutality, like certain characters just get destroyed, and the tension is super high, the artwork is amazing, the certain character interactions are really good. I really like Ambush Bug's involvement in this issue. I like Match Superboy, or the Bizarro Superboy. I like Nocturna. Like, Nocturna and Match's relationship is really good, and the twist at the end of Match being transported away, and now he has to help Amanda Waller take over Earth 3, while Nocturna sticks around with the other Suicide Squad members being stuck on Earth 8. Like, that is super interesting. Like, after War for Earth 3, that event, there's still a lot of story to cover, and I'm certain Robbie Thompson knows what to do. Like, he already knows, he has the plans for another great storyline this Suicide Squad run. But yeah, how the issue ends, like the confrontation between Rick Flag and Amanda Waller, just seeing Rick Flag's Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, Bloodsport, Mirror Master, Cheetah, it's a really good team. But they are no match for this huge Clayface from Earth 23. Just the appearance of Clayface at the end got me so hyped, and the double page spread just ups the tension. Like, you're like, wait, are they gonna kill Rick Flag? Is Peacemaker about to die? Like, anybody is expendable. It shows in this issue. So yeah, guys, if you've been enjoying Suicide Squad so far, if you're excited for the upcoming events, War for Earth 3, then I highly recommend you pick up this issue. Now guys, that's all the new DC Comics that came out this past week, but now it's time for a back haul pull. And this week I got for you guys the Multiversity, written by Grant Morrison, a comic that deals with the DC Multiverse, and it was written during the New 52 era of DC Comics, right before DC Rebirth. Now, this comic is very cool. Like, you see the Justice League Incarnate, or Justice Incarnate as they're called in this story, with President Superman, and just the rest of the team, like Captain Carrot, Machine Head. You see them just travel across the multiverse, try to prepare for what's coming next, like what's going on with the Gentry. And we see the first appearance of the Empty Hand in this storyline. And the Empty Hand is just a very powerful foe that has the army, the Gentry, and he's trying to get control of the Oblivion Machine. If he does that, then he can carry out what he wants to do. And we just found out in the new issue of Justice League Incarnate that Empty Hand is basically the Great Darkness, and the Great Darkness is trying to spread across the multiverse, and the Oblivion Machine will do that. But yeah, this Multiversity just shows off different Earths throughout the multiverse, a lot of different Earths, a lot of different doppelgangers and different versions of characters we know, and it's awesome, guys. Like Earth 43, the vampires, like Vampire Batman, really cool. Earth 45, we see like Super Doom. Earth 44, we see AIs of our Justice League that we know. And guys, there's always been crazy versions of the Justice League. Like, heck, we literally have a new miniseries coming out in April that will show the Jurassic League, a dinosaur version of the Justice League. If that doesn't sound crazy, I don't know what does. Like, that, I'm really excited for that. Like, that is a very interesting concept, and I'll definitely be covering on this channel. We also see, like, the Justice Lords, which I find them really cool. I like the idea of them. And yeah, it's just really awesome going through the multiverse and just having the writing of Grant Morrison. Like, Grant Morrison thinks out of the box all the time, and to give him the reins of the multiverse to just do whatever he wants with it, you get a story like this, where it's crazy and very interesting. Like, I get invested in it so quickly. But my favorite part of the storyline is the arrival of the Empty Hand. Like, the Empty Hand is just so cool. Like, I'm just looking at this right now. That image of him and the Gentry. And yeah, I think every fan should read the Multiversity, especially if you're reading what Joshua Williamson is doing with the DC Universe right now. Like, this is very essential reading. You read about the Multiversity, you'll know what's going on in the upcoming events at DC Comics. And yeah, guys, that'll be the back haul pull for this week. You guys, some of your thoughts on Multiversity down below. What do you think about the Empty Hand? What's your favorite Earth in the DC Multiverse? Like, do you like the Justice Lords? Do you like the AI version of the Justice League? Do you like, what were some other versions I said? I also saw like a different version of Apocalypse. I mentioned different ones. Like, you guys heard me. There's like, oh, we got Captain Carrot's Earth. We got the Bizarro World. We got the Nazi Justice League. We got the Pirate Justice League. Like, so many different versions of Justice League. Like, which one is your favorites? And yeah, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up. You should make sure to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on my next DC Comics video. And yeah, thanks for watching, and peace out.